As a full-time doctor who also runs a social media business that pretty much demands daily hours, co-founder of an organization, and an individual who is committed to maintaining some sort of work-life balance, here is how I make time for everything. Hi, my name is Lydie. I'm a UK doctor, and on this channel, my best friend and I share insights on all things adulthood, productivity, and self-development. And the question I want to pose to you is, do you not have time, or are you just not willing to make time? Let's view the capacity we have as individuals to put time towards different areas of our lives as a pie chart. Whether it's social life, work, sleep, gym, spirituality, etc., your time has got to be going somewhere on a daily basis. And looking at this pie chart that makes our lives and where our time goes on a daily or weekly basis, we need to come to an understanding that we only have 24 hours in the day. And within that 24 hours, we have a maximum capacity or threshold of the amount of things that we can squeeze into that given time frame. Therefore, to actually make time for the things we want to do but can't manage to squeeze into our daily lives, it sometimes requires us to declutter our lives. And to break it down in simple terms, it means stop being a hoarder with your time. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when we are holding onto things which are meaningless but still taking up so much space in our lives. And there are situations where simplifying your life and stripping back the things that don't necessarily need to take up your time is a good thing. It allows you to see things for what they are, and you end up having less external commitment and therefore make up space and time to do things you actually want to do. And the reason I'm bringing up this point is that, especially in Western culture amongst Gen Z, it is a glorified thing to be seen as this busy hustler. But if you keep overcommitting yourself for external validation, you can't be surprised when you feel as though you never have time to do things that matter to you. And I'd be lying if I said that this wasn't a concept that I struggle to grasp at times, as someone who loves to say yes to everything and everyone. But sometimes you do have to say no and be very selfish with your time. You don't need 10,000 friends. You don't need 100 hobbies. You don't need 10 side hustles. Being intentional with what is in front of you can actually move the needle more than spreading yourself too thin. Less is truly more, and you have more control of your time than you think. What you choose to do outside work is your decision. What you choose to do on days you're not studying is your decision. How you choose to spend your free time on the weekends is all up to you. Simply choose, make the decision to do activities that are in line with your goals, your interests, or things that bring you fulfillment. And one thing we forget is that it also needs to be aligned with your capacity. You have a maximum capacity and threshold before you tip into burnout. So everything you're doing, the accumulation of different activities you want to commit yourself to, should also allow for space for rest. And I think for me, getting to know my capacity throughout medical school, and even now that I've graduated and I'm stepping into full-time work, it's been so useful to kind of understand, okay, what are my non-negotiables? What does rest look like for me in this season? Who are the people who truly matter to me and I want to make time to see? Understanding your capacity in this way and working with it rather than working against it truly filters out so much unnecessary fat. It's hard sometimes, but you need to set these boundaries, because overcommitting yourself and pushing yourself beyond your capacity will just result in you always feeling fatigued. So set those boundaries and don't force yourself to do things you don't have the capacity for. It's not worth feeling restless and as though you never have time for anything. And with this type of approach, you will actually end up offloading so much availability to make time for your everything. Because don't get it twisted, making time for everything looks unique and different to every individual. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what is your everything? When you say you want to make time for everything, what does that actually look like for you? Here are 3 questions to help you figure that out. What are the things you want to make time for and why? Make a list. Number 2, make an alternative list on where your time is actually going realistically on a weekly basis. And I'm going to need you to be honest with yourself on this. Then when you're done, compare the 2 lists and reflect on what you can afford to declutter or offload. Now that you've narrowed it down and hopefully refined your priorities, what happens when the 2 hours you put down in your schedule to commit time towards your side hustle becomes 4 hours? Or you don't feel like going to the gym today? Or that 1 hour revision session didn't go according to plan because you ended up procrastinating for the entire thing? What happens when time isn't actually working in your favor? What happens when, despite putting time to the side for these activities, it's still not feeling like enough? It's still not feeling as though you can truly grasp and get on top of your time management? Well, I think the first thing to remember is that you may not see the visual impact of inconsistency on day 1, but by day 100, this lack of consistency or this lack of ability to respect your own time will build up an avalanche into a result that doesn't align with what you was hoping to gain or achieve in different areas of your life. So to solve and overcome this issue, you need to create an ecosystem. You have to create an environment that will allow you to act on that plan and achieve the long-term goal that you have in mind when committing time towards different activities. Creating said ecosystem for yourself comes down to community, leadership, and accountability. And I'd encourage you, if you want to get on top of your time management, to leave this video trying to implement at least one of these things in your life. Let's start with community. This is a means to immerse yourself in the goal or outcome that you're hoping to achieve as much as possible. It ensures that you're constantly reminded of it in a healthy way. And one way I create community in my life at the moment is I've recently joined a tennis club or a running club as someone who's trying to be more healthy, so that even in certain weeks when I'm tempted to not go or not attend because I'm feeling a bit lazy, I end up interacting with people who are planning the next game or arranging the next location for a run. And it actually ends up pushing this inconsistency to the side, and it encourages me to remind myself of how fun it is and why I committed to it in the first place, so that I actually honor the time that I chose to put towards being healthy and maintaining a certain level of activeness. Whether it's joining a church, a gym, or a study group, you can be alongside people who are on the same journey as you. The next essential tool to creating an ecosystem that will optimize your time is accountability. The effort of reporting your progress to someone else can really, really help. I stand on the fact that I would not be here on YouTube making consistent videos on a weekly or monthly basis if I wasn't doing it alongside Hazal. You want to create as many barriers as possible to avoid bailing on your goal. For me, it really helps to have monthly discussions with Hazal on what content we're planning to release, or even in a given week, checking in on each other on how editing is going. You can apply this to any area of your life where you feel a bit off track, but it can literally be in the form of an accountability partner, a friend, or even an online community where you guys are constantly checking in on each other regarding a certain goal or pursuit. And lastly, leadership. It's absolutely crucial when going after a certain goal or outcome in your life. Whether it's a mentor, a coach, an older sibling, even that TikToker that you see as a role model in your life. It just needs to be an individual who has more insight regarding the thing you're trying to achieve. Learning from someone experienced in your area of growth or someone who has already achieved that thing literally saves so much time, stress, and points you in the right direction. And while we're on the topic of trying to save time and stress, please stop trying to reinvent the hamster wheel. This is a phrase that I picked up from productivity guru Ali Abdul, but it essentially refers to the fact that there's no point trying to go through so much hassle to recreate something or invent something that already exists. Making time for everything requires efficiency, and time efficiency comes from reducing the amount of time that it takes you to complete a given task. Why go in circles trying to figure out how to study when there are millions of YouTube videos available to guide you step by step? Why spend hours creating a budgeting template when there are so many that you can download for free on Notion, for example? Why sit there for hours feeling stuck about career development when there are articles you can read or individuals you can reach out to on LinkedIn to have a virtual coffee? And for the anti-AI corner of the internet that may not want to hear this, ChatGPT is more than just a tool that is the root of plagiarism for students to not do their coursework. No. It's more than that. It can help you create grocery lists, refine your CV, create templates for a creative project, fix your emails, and reduce your life admin. And I can tell you for free that the amount of life admin you have to do as a junior doctor in the UK is genuinely suffocating at times. I absolutely love creating systemized workspaces, so actually let me know in the comments down below if you ever want me to do a walkthrough of my Notion sometime. But essentially what I'm trying to say is you need to find a way to streamline certain activities that can actually free up so much time that you can spend doing other things. And this obviously means that as a result you can fit more into a day and have time for multiple commitments and activities. And I think what really annoys me with this point is the fact that as an individual, it literally took me so long to come to this point in my life where I understood the importance and the benefit of outsourcing certain things or streamlining certain things because of pride, because I wanted to be self-built, and at times even ignorance. For example, I genuinely didn't know at 18 years old when I was starting this YouTube channel that I could just go onto YouTube and search up how to make a thumbnail. Instead, I was there struggling, doing a lot of trial and error that essentially could have saved me a lot of time and made things more efficient. And I guess while one measure of efficiency is how quickly you can get something done. The type of efficiency that I tend to find more useful these days is energy efficiency. Being able to get something done without wasting a lot of your energy. And this truly does more for your time than you think. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When we force ourselves to try to push through, employ discipline, and resist distraction, these are all very energy inefficient ways of getting things done. Sure, we might get the task complete, but we actually end up feeling very drained at the end of it if we even manage to complete it. So the alternative is to focus on enjoying ourselves. When we're enjoying ourselves, our work actually becomes a source of energy rather than an energy drain. The key point I'm trying to get across is that when you're enjoying yourself, productivity tends to take care of itself. I saw this during A-levels, for example, when I was doing maths and physics. I literally didn't enjoy it as much, but when I finally got over the barrier of finding this particular subject difficult and things were making sense, and I was so happy I finally got it, it was actually enjoyable to sit down and do 50 math questions on statistics. When you're naturally enjoying something and you're kind of in the zone, there is naturally less procrastination, less prolongation in the time that it takes you to do a given thing. And the conclusion of this is there are less delays in getting through your to-do list, so you end up having more time at hand to commit towards your multiple activities and interests. And even now, as a full-time doctor, I am actively thinking of ways to make work more enjoyable, whether that's systemizing my clinical work or setting out a challenge for myself and something that I want to do really well today, or even sitting down and having a 5-minute catch up with my work colleagues. It really does make a difference in making the whole thing feel less exhausting, because working as a doctor can get very draining at times. And the result of this is that by the end of the day, I actually have a brain cell or two left to do some editing or send off a work email. If you want to know the 3 things that you need to do to avoid wasting your life, be sure to check out this video here. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below what I should make a video on next, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be sure to see you next time. Bye!